This book will change your life if you let it. Atomic Habits by James Clear has been a bestseller for years. There's a reason that companies buy whole pallets of this book and just give it away to their employees. But the simple wisdom of this book doesn't have to be the domain of huge corporations or wealthy people. This book can make anyone's life better, and it can make their life make more sense. And we're going to get into all that. I'm going to give you actionable steps that can help you create your habits. Throughout my life, I've had these moments when I'm all alone before I go to sleep, where I consider what my life's going to be like tomorrow or next week. It seems like many of us find motivation in times right before we go to sleep, or maybe for you, it's at a different time of day. But whatever it is or whenever it is, we decide that we can conquer the world, change our ways, be more productive, be this better version of ourselves, a version of ourselves that we most want to be. This is our raw energy and purpose. We have this greatly focused and really clear motivation. And then we go to sleep, we wake up, and we wake up with that same feeling of motivation that was so shockingly clear to us just a few hours earlier, and it's gone. Maybe there's still a faint echo of it, but it's not there. How can we turn that monumental feeling of change into reality? How do we take that energy and follow through with it? And I think just starting is core to doing this. And habits and routines are the blocks that we can build on here. And harnessing that energy and purpose and directing it into action. Forming habits and turning them into routines can be this whole life-changing thing. James Clear says, all big things come from small beginnings. The seed of every habit is a single tiny decision. But as that decision is repeated, a habit sprouts and grows stronger. Roots entrench themselves and branches grow. And so how can we build on those really powerful words from James Clear? What are your current habits and where do you want to go? Having listened to all of that, go ahead and list your daily habits. Actually write them down, type them on your phone, break them down into groups of good, bad, and neutral habits. And remembering your moment of desire for change in life, that moment that you have where you want to change things. So list out your habits and routines that you want to build for yourself. Link each of these new habits directly to the reason that you want to build it. What goal is moving you towards that direction? Then look at this list and consider your current habits again, the good, the bad, and the neutral, and contrast them with these new habits that you want to build. Think about what bad or neutral habits can be replaced with these new good ones. Clear says, the task of breaking a bad habit is like uprooting a powerful oak within us. So bad habits are hard to break, he says. But starting a good habit in its place makes that process easier for you. So try to replace a bad habit with a new good habit. And habit stacking is essentially daisy chaining your habits and routines together so that they kind of make more sense holistically. Consider how you can create these links from one good or neutral habit to the next one. Your life doesn't have to be this planned out, down to the minute thing, but just an outline of your day-to-day or week-to-week schedule or practices can bring you great peace. I found a way to do this that works for me, and it kind of aligns with this book. I've been excited to share this with you all. And prior to reading this book, I was already moving myself forward, but this book helped me move further and faster. It just made things easier. I've done a lot of things now that I had wanted to do, stuff that I've been meaning to do for a really long time, like sleeping better, reading more, I'm eating better, exercising, meditating, even reaching out to loved ones that I want to communicate with. And habits and routines take us where we want to go. And I'm interested in how we make that process easier. If we can create a habit and turn it into a routine, then we're going to be doing these certain things in our life better. And that means that all this other stuff in our life becomes more clear. And we expend less effort over time, we're grounded, we're more efficient, and this gives us a peace of mind. And who doesn't want that? So maybe you ask the question, what do habits and routines have to do with spirituality? I mean, we're a spiritual channel. And for me, reading books about religion, philosophy, spirituality, I've realized the importance of self-help. and self-improvement from this like practical, everyday sense. The more grounded we are, the more likely that we're going to use the space and time available to us to be spiritual. And the routines and habits are the things that grease the wheels of our machine inside of us. Maybe it's not that habits take us where we want to go, but they enable us to really enjoy the present in every single day. Before we move on, please subscribe by hitting the watermark in the lower right-hand corner of this video and share this with any friends or family that you think might benefit from it. So what's all the hype about with this book? First, I'd say that it's super easy to read and understand, so it's just simple. And I think anyone from age 16 to 76 could make use of it. James Clear says that a number of consistent small changes, even tiny percentages of change each day or each week, can add up to huge differences in our life. And on this, Clear says, it is so easy to overestimate the importance of one defining moment and underestimate the value of making small improvements on a daily basis. Too often, we convince ourselves that massive success requires massive action. And I think this is such a powerful concept from Clear here, and he lays it out so beautifully. We have to turn this idea for big change that we have, but then translate it into daily action. We have to go do this thing. And this really is life-changing. It will completely change your existence. Clear adds here that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. You make this investment in yourself, and then you get to reap the benefits forever. And if I could add a personal example, I've worked on being more grounded in my spiritual life. And walking through this real world, whenever I hear the thought to myself of, oh, I'll do this later, or I'll do that later, I've started to instinctively ask myself if I could do it right now and just be done with it. And so if I can, I just complete it right away. And what's a few extra steps or a couple of extra minutes or 10 minutes so that I can cross it off my list? And then I don't have to keep reliving that thing that I need to do in my mind. And so I have this peace and this clarity. And I'm way less anxious. I'm way more calm. And I think this is a huge habit that I've developed that has personally changed my life. And this book actually helped me do that. And I think that's part of embracing self-help. Sometimes the self-help genre gets a bad rap. There's those that lean into it and go on to live more joyful and peaceful lives. And then there are some who think that they don't need it or have things all figured out. And I think even on social media or Reddit, sometimes you'll see people mock others or criticize them for having books like Atomic Habits on their shelf. I say, let's take all the help we can get as we go through the crazy journey through the universe. We're creatures of habit, but that doesn't mean we are creatures of positive habits. We're creatures of our tribes. We have issues with identity. If we understand ourselves better, we're better equipped then to make changes. And Clear obviously understands humans and knows how we work. And we don't necessarily think about it often, but a massive part of our everyday life is tied up into habits, both good and bad. And we kind of trend towards the easy and the comfortable. Humans love the path of least resistance, which can put us dead set on the path of these negative habits. And if you start developing good habits and you're working on yourself, don't completely fall off the wagon. Don't chase perfection or think that you'll be perfect, because this is that impossible goal that you're setting for yourself. What you can do instead is stay connected to the universal perfection of your inner self while walking through this imperfect world that we all share. So don't let these lapses, when you stop doing the habit, destroy your progress. This might be the most important concept of following through habits and routines, is having this grace for yourself. A misstep is perfectly fine. It's not the end of the world. And so support yourself when you fall short and tell yourself, I've got this. And part of building a habit and a routine is monitoring your progress and balancing that with accountability. And so track your progress, but don't obsess over it. Don't be so obsessed over tracking it that you're constantly on edge about it. Remember that you're doing this, and if you're not having fun, if you're not enjoying the journey, then you're going to get so focused on the destination that you totally lose any sense of being present and living today, which is really the whole point of life, is to be living in the moment, living today. So learn how to love the path as you're kind of walking along and doing all this stuff to be more centered and grounded. And how do you embrace a new habit or a routine is going to determine its success. So remind yourself to be accountable to yourself and that you're doing this for you. And I think accountability partners can also help you, and they may help you focus and achieve things that you want to accomplish. You might find a team or be in a community. In our spiritual community that we run here at Kishar, we help each other out. We have accountability programs. We have spiritual guides and coaches working through the process with people. And you can check us out in the notes below if you're interested in joining our community. And habits need room to grow. To an extent, you are who you spend your time with. You're a product of your environment. And your environment consists of these spaces around you, your home, your workspace, your car, and these relationships that you have and how organized your spaces are going to be the things that make habits possible. So you have to do other work to set your habits and routines up for success. So all this other stuff you have going on in your life is going to determine whether you're successful in establishing a new habit and a routine. I wanted to give you a real-world example of habits in action. And in the book, Clear talks about the LA Lakers and how back in 1986, they had this super talented basketball team, but they were inconsistent and underperforming. And there was this legendary coach, you may know him, you may not, his name was Pat Riley, and he instituted this system that was called Career Best Effort, or they called it CBE. And it tracked the statistics of all these players on the Lakers from high school all the way through NBA, and it awarded points for things that they did. It wasn't just scoring, it actually extended to intangibles like hustle or drive, something as simple as diving for a ball. And what Pat Riley was trying to get with his team is to seek this small incremental change in his players and their stats. And he publicly tracked it, and he put up, taped up their stats in the locker room where everyone could see them. And they all got better. And although they'd underachieved in 1986, they won the NBA championship in 87 and 88. And so it worked. And it was absolutely about habits, but it was also a focus on mindset. And I think that this is a great example because it demonstrates small incremental changes can be applied even to this team that was comprised of these world-class athletes that were already at the top of their game, but they got even better. And so I think you could take that and imagine what we could do with this, what you could do with this. And again, you have to believe it. Negative thoughts compound, and what you seek is going to seek you. The more you think of yourself as these bad thoughts, the more you're conditioning yourself to interpret life that way. You get trapped in this thought loop. And so there's great power in positive thinking. Consider putting verbal affirmations into your daily routine. It's only going to compound the success of your habits and routines, and you'll see yourself become more successful there. And there isn't some universal shortcut. We have to meet the universe halfway here. There's no one-size-fits-all solution, and you have this system and set of tools that can unlock the potential inside of you. And this book is just one of those tools that might show you the way. And it's not necessarily a magic bullet, but it could be. Magic is real, as long as you believe it. Don't do it for anyone else, just do it for yourself. If we take care of ourselves, we become infinitely more useful and valuable to those we love around us. So we're taking care of ourselves, we're also taking care of others. I think James Clear has a way of taking research and science and turning it into a usable product. There's a lot in this book that I wasn't able to get to in this discussion, so I definitely recommend reading it. And Clear says, you should be far more concerned with your current trajectory than with your current results. So think about where you're going. Think about what you're doing and where it's going to take you. It's a really beautiful thought. What do you think of your current habits? What do you want to change? Which habits do you want to add? And how are you going to do it? Let me know in the comments and I will absolutely respond. And again, if you're looking for a peaceful community where people can share journeys and have discussions just like this, visit keyshard.org. And if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button and we'll make content just like this. And until next time, I wish you peace on your journey.